Hey everybody, welcome to Flashback with yours truly, Cedric Phillips, where we're going to be going over some photos over the past handful of years of my Magic career and some that I imagine that are not related to that. Should be fun, so join me for a trip down memory lane where we talk about me. All right, look at 18-year-old Cedric with his backwards hat and wrestling medal. One for basketball, one for wrestling, which are two things I still very much enjoy. So this was me at Grand Prix Columbus 2004. So this tournament was Mirrored and Dark Steel, sealed and booster draft. And I remember it well because my senior year of high school, I would go to the local store in Strongsville every day after school, Ground Zero Comics, which is still there, but a different location. Shout out to the owner, Marcus, who's the best store owner ever. Sorry, Pete. And we would draft Mirrored and Dark Steel 2 or 3 times a day. And then I would go home and just kind of review my decks and get ready for this tournament and get ready for that format. That tournament is where I met Brian Kibler because I beat him playing for top 8. We're still friends today. Ended up making the top 8, and the top 8 included Mike Turian, Craig Krempels, Brock Parker, and a bunch of other people. And I was kind of thrown in there, and that was the first time I ever qualified for the Pro Tour. And that's when the real addiction began. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I should remember this. That's a younger Rich Hagon and a younger me. Look at that hair on Rich. So that's me at Pro Tour Kyoto. I decided I wanted to dress nice at Pro Tours, and I think this is the first time that I ever did this. So what a lot of people don't know is I didn't test it all for this tournament. I played Kithkin because it was the deck I was known for at the time, and I was really kind of not interested in playing Magic that much anymore. I was putting a lot of time in, wasn't getting the success that I wanted, so I decided this was my last tournament. I really didn't even want to go, but I wanted PTQ in Detroit where I beat one of my best friends from Ohio in the finals, so if I didn't go, I was kind of a jerk. Ended up, going 6-2 on day 1, I think, making the top 8, and then losing my match in the top 8 to Brian Robinson, where I think I'm on camera for, let's call it 4 minutes.
So, all right, there you get a look at Cedric Phillips. That is not a happy man.
So I'm getting crushed. They cut over to me getting crushed, and then he finishes with a lethal attack. I'm off camera, and that was my big Pro Tour top 8 debut. But I was, I think, in Japan for all of 3.5 days because as soon as I got knocked out of the tournament, I had to head to the airport and fly home. So technically, I tell people I've been to Japan, but I think I was there for 3.5 days playing Magic, topping the tournament. It was super memorable, but I wish I had been in Japan longer because for the time that I was there, it was super cool. And shout out to Rich. Seriously though, look at that hair. Old Jerry T. Okay, so this match, another fun one. All right, so this is SCG Atlanta 2016. Ooh, I got my Bubble Man playing that. So me and Jerry are playing. Jerry's he's 13-0, and he's good to draw in the top 8, but I don't like taking concessions. And I like to earn my way in the top 8. So Jerry can concede to me, and Jerry is kind of known for conceding to his friends, but I don't want the concession, so we're going to play. So Nick Miller thought that Jerry was just going to concede and draw me, and that was going to lock me for top 8, but I was like, don't concede, let's play. And I was playing Orzhov Control, and Jerry was playing the green-white Evolution deck, and Jerry was killing it at the time with that deck. He's obviously 13-0. He ends up beating me in what's a really fun and really good back and forth match. Goes 3 games, and actually it's funny because the feature match area ended up being where Jerry and I were playing as opposed to where the normal feature match area is on the SCG Tour. So we're going back and forth, we're talking trash, and one of my favorite things among many about Jerry, who I've been friends with for 15 years now, is I don't think I've ever beat him in a sanctioned constructed match. For as long as we've been playing, we've been sitting next to each other for many rounds, we've played against each other many times, but in constructed I've never beaten him. And in limited, I think we've played once or twice, and I've beaten him both times. And he's a million times better than me at limited and constructed. He's going to be a Magic Hall of Famer. So I didn't beat him in this match. And then the next round, I end up losing to Tom Ross. Jerry ends up going undefeated in the Swiss. Tom ends up winning the tournament, and I'm sitting here in lowly 14th place, thinking to myself, maybe I should have taken the concession. You win again, Jerry. Oh, yes. Yes. Hell yes. the best match I've ever covered. First of all, Lam Phan, look at those heinous lands. Those are heinous what he's done to those snow-covered lands. And those snow-covered lands are probably worth more than he even realizes now. I remember commentating this match and thinking, there's no way Tom's gonna win. I think they've already played in the Swiss and Tom lost to him once. And at some point, you can see Lam's life total. He's at 23 and 8 infect, and Tom is at 5, playing against Lam still. And I think I mentioned in passing something along the lines of, well, there's no way Tom is gonna like win.
Send it back over to Ross. He'll take a look at the top couple of cards. Noble Hierarch, and Verdant Catacombs.
Well, time to change the plan. What's Lam at? Is it 23?
I don't know if we can change the plan. I don't know if we can change the plan.
Well, we're not dealing any infect damage for a while.
And Matthias and I, like, we can't believe what's actually happening, which is like Tom is going for it with normal damage and Lam is not drawing like bolts or sudden shocks to kill him or the creatures that he's pumping. But Tom just keeps chipping away. Lam's flooding, not finding what he needs, and then eventually.
I can't believe what I just saw. Tom Ross wins this match.
He ended up losing the finals of that tournament to Brian Braun, where if he would have won that match, where BBD is, I think BBD's like Jeskai, all spot removal spells, then Tom is like the best player of all time. But that match, unbelievable if you've never seen it. Oh, baby. Anytime I get to make fun of Ross, I'm happy. Here we go. This wasn't Patrick at the peak of his powers, but it was still Patrick when he was really good, especially playing Burn. And he just navigated a beautiful game. We've seen the SCG, best of SCG live replay of this so many times, but he just navigated a beautiful game. There's a lot of the time where people say, you can't play a perfect game of Magic. Well, he got pretty damn close. And I can't say he walked Ross into anything, but Patrick gave himself the best chance to win. When he activates the Pride Mage of both the Vortex, and Patrick goes in with the 1/2 Price of Progress Fire Blast, that's when Magic, if we can have more moments like that when we're covering Magic, oh baby. It's everything I could ask for in coverage. One person can't believe what happened, and one person also can't believe what happened, but for completely different reasons. It's everything I want Magic coverage to be. It's one of my favorite moments. And I know that Ross in his flashback talked about it some, and Patrick, if he ever does one of these, he'll talk about it some, but it will always live on. It will always be on YouTube. And Ross's face. Mwah. Oh no. Oh no. All right, I had a feeling this was gonna happen. All right. Here's the cartwheel. Harry has connected with an Emrakul to clean Milton's board and has a Blood Moon, if memory serves. And Milton, at that point, I'm just like, if Harry wins this game, I'll do a cartwheel. Because the percentage chance of winning this game is incredibly low. He's Blood Mooned while playing a Deathrite Shaman deck, so he has like no basics. I think he's playing Jund. So I think he has like 2 basics in his deck. And he ends up drawing one to be able to cast Deathrite Shaman, and then Deathrite Shaman can fuel with other things he needs to cast. But Harry is playing Sneak and Show, and he has a sneak attack on the battlefield. So all he needs to do is draw some dumb threat or cantrip into some dumb threat and win the game. And he just never finds one.
No.
All right, well, I'm going to stand up because you got some stretching to do.
And I'm a man of my word. I was a gymnast once. I'll be a gymnast again. All right, here we go. Oh! That was so close. That was so close. That was like so close. I always remember seeing that, and everyone wasn't laughing at me. I think they were laughing with me, but if you were laughing at me, I don't care. And just kind of thinking to myself, like, I don't know, I look not great, and I should probably fix this, especially if I'm going to be on camera with some amount of regularity. So this is actually what spurred my weight loss, to start going to the gym, which are things I post about, and getting with the trainer and taking health and fitness seriously. So I always tell people who always talk to me about like what spurred my weight loss and me taking fitness seriously and everything. It's something different for everybody. For a lot of people, they see the cartwheel video and they see some bozo doing a cartwheel because some dude lost a weird game of Magic. When I see it, I see a very overweight version of myself and thinking like, man, I had a lot of steak and shake in college. I should probably do something about this. So I look back on it with fondness because it spurs something to make myself better in life while also entertaining people. For me, that's a win-win. The UG. I love these people. I love this company. So Ultimate Guard, as a lot of you guys know, I obviously do work for Star City. I'm the editor of the website and I do all the SCG Tour stuff. But I also work for Ultimate Guard. I'm the North American marketing manager for the company. I actually just love their stuff. If people know me and follow me on social media, I don't talk about things or shield products unless I've used them myself. I was at an open in Louisville in 2016, and Jonathan Suarez of Commander versus Fame showed me an Ultimate Guard flipping tray, and I was like, what's the deal with this thing? And he's like, I don't know, it's a really nice deck box. And I checked it out, and I'm like, this is really nice. I'm gonna buy one of these. I got sponsored by them, and then I started doing giveaways of their products because they didn't really have a great presence in the States. And I ended up just kind of giving away a bunch of their stuff on social media, and they really liked that. And I thought I was being helpful for the company, but I also just kind of believed in their products. And now they're kind of ubiquitous in the Magic community and the SCG Tour. So anytime I get the opportunity to kind of help a brand that I believe in, I try to get it out in front of the community, and hopefully it's helpful for them and they enjoy the products. And it's a lot of work, kind of balancing these jobs and all the travel that I do, but I think it's a lot of fun because you don't know when you're getting an opportunity like this in life again. So I try to take the opportunities and kind of run with them. When I was working for Red Robin in the early stages of the decade, I served an older gentleman who said never pass up an opportunity for an opportunity, and so I don't. So I do this for as long as I can. All right, I'm targeting Ross Merriam with this. Ross, look into my eyes. In-N-Out is garbage. Shake Shack is it's lovely. It is way too expensive. The pricing is outrageous. I'll still always go whenever we do a Baltimore Open. Every time. So there's a Shake Shack at the Baltimore Open that I go to every Friday when I land. There's a Shake Shack in LAX, which is new, but I don't fly through LAX that much. And they've opened a Shake Shack in Ohio, but here's the thing. Ohio has a better burger than Shake Shack. Now, I love Shake Shack. The double smoke shack, plus french fries with cheese, plus lemonade. It's a great order. It costs like $19. It's a great order. Their milkshakes, I'm not particularly fond of, but if you're in Northeast Ohio, or you're from Northeast Ohio, you know Swenson's. And they are second to none. The Galley Boy is the best burger there is. Their onion rings are amazing. And they have a million different flavors of milkshakes, and they're all good. My preference is the root beer shake. But as much as I love Shake Shack, and I know this is supposed to be about Shake Shack, I gotta give the true king, Swenson, some love. If you're from Northeast Ohio, make sure you go to Swenson's, get yourself a Galley Boy, throw away the toothpick with the green olive. I don't know why they do that. It's a waste of olives, but the burger is very good. Yeah! This is what I'm talking about. I would like to be a Mega Man villain one day, too. Best video game of all time. It's not even close. So, I have an affinity for Mega Man. I love it. I can rattle these guys off real easy. Nightman, Crashman, Quickman, Skullman, Heatman, Airman, Bombman, Cutman, Electman, which is short for electric, Snake Man, Gutsman. Mega Man feels like I'm a kid playing a video game again. That's why I love Mega Man. And it's not that long, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a fun experience for a couple of days, and it can be super enjoyable. And that's what I love about it. When they announced Mega Man 11, I was super pumped. I put it on my calendar when it was going to be released, and though I didn't get to buy it and play it on the first day it got out, I got to do it over Thanksgiving, and I felt like a kid again because there was nothing anyone could do to make me put it down. And when you're 32, your parents can't tell you to stop playing video games. They can try, but I don't have to listen anymore. So I played Mega Man for like 22 hours straight or whatever, and I beat it, and I loved it. It was so good. Best video game of all time. My podcast, it's controversial. I swear a lot on it because I don't get to swear while I do coverage, so I got to do it somewhere. The Cedric Phillips podcast, it's a rebranding of Ced Talks, the old name of my podcast, where I just like to talk about stuff, honestly. I like to talk Magic with Patrick Sullivan or Jerry Thompson and the state of things. I like to talk about the NBA. I like to talk about professional wrestling. I like to talk about my life. I just like to talk. People like to hear what I have to say, which is kind of cool, and I don't mind talking about it as long as I have time, which I like to make more time for. But the podcast originally came about because my best friend in Ohio, Joe, we've over the 15 years or so that I've known him, whether I was at school at Purdue or when I lived in Seattle or I'm on the road or whatever, he's like the only person that I'll talk to on the phone because I don't really like talking on the phone. I like to text or Facebook message like everybody else, but he's the one person who I've talked to on the phone. And we talk on the phone for hours at a time, just about life and wrestling and the NBA and various things. And I always thought to myself when we were having our wrestling conversations, because they're so ridiculous, like, why don't we just record these and see what people think? So I figured out the best way to do it finally. And we started just our phone calls that we have and the wrestling podcast that we record, they're the exact same thing. We don't change it at all. We'll add like music or whatever, but that's where this kind of came from, was he's ridiculous. And I'm me. And I was like, I don't know, maybe people will enjoy this. So that's where the podcast kind of came from. And then we started doing Magical Ones with Patrick. And that's just us doing our coverage kind of unfiltered, for lack of a better term. And, you know, it's always fun to have Jerry on, who's a longtime friend. And I like talking about the NBA, and some people are interested in my life. So it all just kind of came together. And so we do episodes. I wish I had more time to do more, because I'd like to put out an episode or two a week, but I try to make it work. And with some of the things that have been happening in Magic recently, now's a better time than ever to turn on the old microphone. Hello, LeBron. I miss you. We are not very good without you. Makes me sad. So this is downtown Cleveland. This is the LeBron billboard that he had down there. LeBron is obviously one of the most important people in my life. If you follow me on social media even a little bit, you know that. I'm a huge basketball fan. I would love to work in the NBA or the basketball industry, whatever the correct term is, at some point. And LeBron is, for me, he is everything that I would love to be in life. He is just such a bastion for positivity and what one person can do. I know there's a lot of people who might think, you know, how much can one person impact a city or a person or a thing? He is living proof that one person can do a lot. He's a real source of inspiration for me. And he's actually had a lot of different effects in my life. When he left in the decision, myself, like the rest of Ohio, were not particularly fond of him then. But looking back on it now, if the worst thing you've ever done in your life is take a friend's advice that was poor advice while also raising multiple millions of dollars for charity, you're doing pretty good. In 2008, I think it was, I dropped out of college for a little bit because I was failing, because I was not doing well in life personally. And my dad let me come home and kind of get my life back in order. And we weren't on great terms then. And I remember it's game 5, famous LeBron game. It's Cavs versus Pistons, 2-2 in Detroit. And that's the game where LeBron scores. It's either 25-26 or 26-27. I always get the number confused. There's a shot that LeBron takes in, I think, the first overtime, where my dad is not that vocal when watching sports, but my dad is like kind of saying like, hey, pass the ball or something like that. And I'm like, Dad, that's total nonsense. Who passed the ball to who? And LeBron takes some asinine step back 3-point shot, and my dad is screaming, no, and then it goes in and my dad goes, I'm done talking, do whatever you want. And after that game was over, my dad and I just kind of it's like a movie where like you give your dad like this huge hug, but you don't say anything. And my dad and I just kind of embraced, because Cleveland doesn't win anything. Sports can bring people together, and I will never forget where I was for that game and how my dad and I have had a great relationship since then. I think LeBron kind of has a lot to do with that. And it just kind of shows that, like, again, one person can do a lot more than I think people realize. And my dad and I have a great relationship now, and we still talk sports all the time. And LeBron, man, I hope he retires in Cleveland. It's tough to see him with that Lakers jersey, but he's always up to big things, and it inspires me a lot to keep pushing when I don't want to. Well, everybody, that's my episode of Flashback. I hope you've enjoyed taking a trip down memory lane with me to learn a little bit more about me, both magic and non-magic. This series has been a lot of fun. I love seeing the episodes with Todd and Ross and everybody else, so I decided I had to do one too. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and we'll have more of these coming soon. Thanks for watching.